Yeah, so hey, I'm James, and I did my project on recycling, composting, and sustainability education at my workplace, Expeditors. So a little bit of background into where I work. Expeditors International Washington is a global logistics company. It's Fortune 500. It's all over the world. Right here is our global headquarters, and then right here is the office where I work in Phoenix. And so what I did with my project was when I got into my company, when I was hired about 2 years ago, I was looking around and said, okay, there's not really any sustainability initiatives going on at my workplace right now. And what can I do to make that different? Because I wanted to do something with sustainability, and this was a little bit before the project really was in formation. And so what I had heard from the global headquarters was that there's these things called green teams that can be put into place in any branch. And it's essentially just volunteers that want to do sustainability initiatives in their branch. And so the Phoenix office, of course, didn't have a green team at the time. And I said, well, hey, I can do a green team because why not? And so that's what I did. And so the two places of work that I was looking at was, of course, the Phoenix office, and then also our Surprise, Arizona, we have a distribution center that just came online about half a year ago. And so that was the other place that I was looking at as well. Not as intensively as Phoenix office because that's where I work every day, and so I was in and around all the employees there and everything like that. And so the length of the project was from August 2016 to November 2017, just last month. And so the first thing that we, as the Green Team, wanted to set out was kind of our goals and objectives. And so the first thing we did was we came up with a vision statement. And so the two main parts of the vision statement that we really wanted to hone into were this culture of personal and professional stewardship, so culture of sustainability really, and then also the economic and impactful improvements. And that's sort of the value proposition that we were going to give to the branch and to the company as a whole. And so what we wanted to do after we created our vision statement was come up with these 4 pillars for every project that we would be doing throughout the branch, not just my project, but any project we do in the future as the Green Team. So we wanted measurable results, educational encouragement, long-lasting benefit, and, of course, employee involvement as well. And so that was kind of our guiding statements that we had at the very beginning of my project and the Green Team itself. And so we also had a goal of waste diversion, and that's kind of where the ideas of recycling and composting and making that culture of sustainability come into play came from. As well, we wanted to show that projects like this were actually feasible in an office setting, because none of us on the Green Team had really heard about very big projects like this in a huge company like Expeditors. So the first thing that I did was I was looking for some low-hanging fruits, and one of them was our important documents. When I was first in the company, all the important documents were getting thrown into these bins, but they were not recycled at all. They were thrown into the trash, and also the vendor that we had cost the company money to come pick up the important documents. So I said, well, shoot, we don't need that. I can find a better vendor. So I did. I found a vendor that recycles, but they were also free. And so what they were picking up was just all the important documents, but also a lot of the cardboard that we had in our warehouse and at the Surprise facility. It's distribution center, so obviously there's a ton of cardboard there with all the boxes. And so what I wanted to do, the first thing I wanted to do with this was kind of make some posters that would show the employees, hey, this is what you can put in each bin, and this is why it's important to put it in there. And I would put out emails and say, okay, this is why it's important, this is why you should be doing these things. And so that theme stayed throughout the rest of the project. Another thing that I did with the paper was looking at reducing the use of paper. And so the first thing I did was I got our branch to use this 30% recycled copy paper just because it's better right off the bat. And then I also pushed for paperless. So a lot of the things that we do involve a lot of paper documents. And I said, well, maybe we can do some of these things online instead of having to print out so many things. One of those was what's called a statement. It's this huge document of all the things, all the transactions that we've been doing throughout a month, and we were able to make that paperless, so it saved a ton of paper in the long run. And so as you can see here, this is all the boxes of paper that we purchased in 2016 and 2017, and so it's gone down by at least a measurable factor, and it's continuing to go down over time as well. And the data I got is from a software called Scope 5, which our company uses to kind of show all the different things that we use in our branch for paper or recycling, and that's where I got a lot of my data from. So as you can see here, some graphs about the actual poundage of what our carrier picked up for paper and cardboard in Phoenix and in Surprise. So this little spike here is just all the cardboard we had left over in our warehouse that we had kind of stored up because we knew we were going to switch to a different vendor. And then it's kind of tapered off over time because of our reduction in paper use. And then the cardboard, this is kind of where Surprise facility actually got up and running, and then it's kind of just started using more and less over time depending on how busy the distribution center is. The next thing I did was I moved to general recycling. And so we had some of these little blue bins in our warehouse, and I said, well, shoot, we can just use those in the office. So I put them out. It was really easy. I told everybody where they were, what we were doing, and why we were doing it. And I just said, yeah, just throw all your extra general recycling in there. Of course, not the important documents, because we don't want those to get into the wrong hands. But people started to take to it pretty quickly. And so I put maybe 5 or 10 out around the office, and then I put a few in Surprise as well. And the main point of what I wanted to do was just to get kind of the initial burst of, hey, this is something we're doing here, this is sustainability. We really want to have initiatives here at the Phoenix branch, and so this was kind of the first foray into that. And then myself and my green team would take out the recycling each week to show that we care, hey, this really matters to us and we want to take this out. And we also put up some signs, just like we did for the paper documents, just to show this is what you can put in. Some of these pictures are actually from stuff that we use in the office. So here's some of the results. So you can see this is where we started, and then it's just gone up over time, and it's kind of stayed right around 250 or so pounds a month. Some of the other initiatives were battery recycling. We did a thing for Earth Day where we raised some money for planting trees, and each time somebody donated $1, we put another little leaf on the tree. And here's our team right here standing with the tree. And then also, just saying, hey, you can save some money on energy uses by turning off your screens or turning off the lights when you're done at the end of the day. One of the things I wanted to do before I really got into the composting and the rest of it was do a survey. So I sent this out to the whole branch, and the 2 questions I want to focus on are for composting and then the training. And so this one says, if there was a separate bin for food waste, like a compost bin, would you use it? Most people said yes, but some people said only if it's convenient. So we wanted to look into that convenience aspect of it as well. And then this is the one that really said, oh, wow, we really do need a training that tells people about what is the sustainability program at Expeditors, because most people answered no when we said, would you be confident in explaining Expeditors' sustainability program? So then, after I did the survey, I moved into composting. And at first, there were a few little hiccups. Our bin actually got stolen by the cleaning people on the very first day that we had it out. So that wasn't great. But we got the bin back, we put it in, and people started using it right away once we got all the signage up and we told everybody what was going on, and especially focused on this how-to knowledge. Because, composting can be a little bit strange sometimes, and the rules change a bit. And so we wanted to also communicate the value and just say, hey, this is important, this is why it matters, and this is how you do it. And so with the convenience aspect of putting it right in the break room, right where people can get to it, you just throw your food away or your paper towels, really easy, people started using it. So here's some of the results. We did refrigerator cleanouts where we just threw everything right into the compost bin. So that's why these big spikes are here. And then, of course, the stolen compost bin right here for the 0 at the beginning. But as you can see, it's gone up over time as people have kind of learned what to do with the compost bin. So some of the next steps for me are a full training, like I talked about with the survey. I did do a pilot training, and I did an informal survey afterwards to say, hey, what kind of things would you guys like to see in a full training? And so we talked about that, my green team and I, and then some of the employees that came. And so we're going to have our full training in a couple weeks from now, and we're going to talk about these different aspects of sustainability. We're going to try to go from global to local talking about what Expeditors does, some things like the Paris Climate Accord, and then some local city initiatives and things that people can recycle and even compost in their neighborhoods. And then another thing that we're going to have in the training is a video. So this is some of the storyboard methods that one of my green team members put together. So she put little stick figures here that you can see. And so we're just going to kind of tell people about this is what we do in this area, and this is where we save paper, and this is where we compost, and those sorts of things. So really, what can you do? With a little bit of perseverance and a proper communication of value, projects like this really aren't that hard to start in your place of work or at school or anywhere really, and anybody can make change happen. So thank you. Any questions?